then y'all spat. It hits that me, that's facts. I'm still coming for a play. When I hear something, shut up, 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 shut up.
Oh my gosh, overshot. The TLDR of the deck here, if you, don't want to watch the whole thing. Understandable. My latest obsession, as of late, is 5-color decks, so I decided to combine that latest obsession with my constant obsession of reanimation decks and try to find a reanimator 5-color deck. This was way harder than I thought. See, the issue is, almost every 5-color commander that does have something to do with reanimator is just a tribal deck. It's not really reanimator. I mean, it is, but just for like a specific thing. It's like reanimation, but sliver. Reanimation, but zombie. Which, if you know me, outside of my shrine deck, I'm not a big tribal guy. So I really had to dig deep, you know. I thought the 5-color planeswalker would be cool. But then I was like, yeah, it was just too specific for me. But I did come across Tazri Stalwart Survivor, which was pretty sweet. Being 2 and a white for a 3/3 that you can give all other creatures you control with an activated ability a bonus activated ability of being able to tap for their color to help activate other activated abilities. You can also just pay Wooburg and mill your top 5 cards, put all creatures with an activated ability that isn't a mana ability into your hand. Tazri provides a 5-card mill, which is super solid in a reanimator deck, as you could tell. The fact that it puts all creatures with non-mana activated abilities into your hand and everything else into the grave seems like something that would be easy to tap into. You read that, you go, this is going to be an activated ability deck. I'm digging for as many activated abilities as I want. Yeah, you read the title. This isn't how I made the most straightforward, obvious way to build a deck. This is how I created my most unique deck. And the first step to that is abusing the shit out of her ability. So the fact that she returns all creatures with activated abilities that aren't mana abilities back to your hand is something that, sure, you could use that to just like fill up your hand with some powerful activateds. Yeah, you could always do that. I'm going to go ahead and use that to put a bunch of big creatures into my graveyard, like Lord of Pain, or Tivit, or Greensleeves, and then use creatures with activated abilities like Doom Necromancer or Hell's Caretaker to then reanimate the creatures that we have hit grave with Tazri. Not bad, huh? With landfall sub-themes, a little bit of toolbox elements in it so you can have, your cake and eat it too. This 5-color reanimation rainbow deck. No, I did not come up with the name. One of you guys did on stream. Awesome name. This reanimation rainbow deck has been incredibly fun to pilot, and if that sounds interesting to you, let's officially get into it. Remember to like and comment. If you want to show some additional support, you can check out the Patreon for as little as $1. If there's any of these cards in this video that you'd want to pick up yourself, consider ordering them from TCG Player with my affiliate link. And with that, let's get into it. Okay, so let's go order of operations here. The first thing we're going to want to do past ramping and getting out our commander, we're going to want to start using Tazri's ability along with other cards in the deck to begin filling our graveyard with tons of powerful goodies. Aftermath Analyst. Fantastic. Being a 2-drop, mills you, I think, 4 cards. If it's 3, still good. You can pay 3 and a green to Cracker and return all of your lands from your graveyard into play tapped, which, as you'll see in the future with some landfall sub-themes we've got going in this deck, very good on both the reanimation front and the landfall front. Fauna Shaman and Fiend Artisan are both ways to tutor specific creatures out of our decks. Fauna Shaman being a discard outlet, Fiend Artisan being a sack outlet. Both great ways to get some creatures in the graveyard, as well as just like tutor up your Rex Sages if you need it. Stuff like that's always useful with these cards. Ghostly Pilferer, easily becoming one of my favorite cards of all time. I don't understand why this card's not expensive. The fact that you draw a card whenever an opponent plays a card from anywhere other than their hand fires off all the time in Commander. Absolutely insane. But more importantly, it's a discard outlet. That makes it unblockable, and then when you untap, you can draw another card. A lot of card draw happening with this card. But discard outlet. Great way to get some big stuff we're drawing into grave. Palantir of Orthanc. This is a banger card. It's a little bit pricey, monetarily, but it's really good. Being a 3-drop that puts a counter on itself, scries 2 at the end of your turn, then lets an opponent pick to either let you draw a card or mill cards and they take damage equal to the total CMC. A lot of the times they'll let you just mill for the first like 1, 2, 3 counters. Past that point, they're like, fine, I'll let you start drawing cards. It's a Phyrexian Arena that's colorless, that lets you scry 2 beforehand, that has the potential to fill graveyard and shoot opponents for a ton of damage. Yeah, it's been playing great. So has Ripples of Undeath. This thing's absolutely nutty. Providing a mill 3 on our pre-combat main, and then we can go ahead and pay a colorless 3 life. Rip the best thing out of those 3 into our hand. Really good. Not kidding the amount of times I've used this and hit like a Lumra off top along with an Animate Dead and a land. 6 is another one that seems like a no-brainer to me. Being a 3-drop, when it attacks you, mill 3. Everything in your graveyard has retrace for just discarding a land. Again, with some landfall themes, we're pretty okay with doing that. Especially when we have Lumras and Sun Titans running around in the deck. I think we're pretty chill on that. Windfall is quickly becoming one of my favorite cards because it simultaneously always hurts all of my opponents, and they almost never counter it, even though they can. Drawing like 2 extra cards is a hell of a drug, and people always take it. So, Fill in the Grave. Always good for a Reanimator deck. What is the actual targets we're going to be putting into the grave? We're trying to reanimate out early. What are the big creatures in this deck? I'm glad you asked. Greensleeves, Morrow Sorcerer. When I found out Rampaging Balots cost 1 less to play now, has protection from Planeswalkers and Wizards, and has scaling power and toughness, I was stoked. Rampaging's awesome. You really do just kind of outvalue people. This card's real awesome. You just really outvalue people. And again, with Lumras and Sun Titans paired with Terramorphic Expanses, running around in this deck, Aftermath Analyst running around in this deck, future stuff we'll talk about running in this deck. It's pretty good. Lumra! Choke back your vomit. I understand. I love Lumra. A 6-drop that scales power and toughness equal to the number of lands you control, that mills you 4 cards and brings back all your lands tapped and has vigilance and reach is disgusting. Fucking disgusting. This is easily my favorite thing to reanimate. Maybe a second. We'll talk about another one. Omnath, Locus of Creation. Another great one. Replaces itself when you play it. Has a built-in deal 4 to each opponent on a certain level of landfall. I think it's 3 lands that turn. Very easy to do in this deck. And then you just got an engine that's this big reanimated beater early game that's starting to ping everybody for 4. Add mana to your mana pool so you can flood even more big creatures out. Tatiova Benthic Druid is another landfall engine. Every time we get a land, we just gain a life, draw a card. The amount of cards this is going to draw us is pretty nuts. Again, like paired with Lumra. Sun Titan. This is a card that I have to run in all my Reanimator decks. It's like a personal choice. I've got to run Sun Titan. It's like my favorite card ever printed. Also in this deck, it's really good at getting back some permanents that we accidentally mill that are like artifacts or creatures that we don't necessarily want to waste some of our prime reanimation on. But my favorite interaction with this is sack lands, because you got like a Terramorphic Expanse out with a Sun Titan. You're hitting that 3 land drop every turn for your Omnath. That's pretty good. Past all these more landfall-centered threats, we do have some more just straight-up threats that I threw into the deck that I really like reanimating. Ragadraga Gorguts Boss. The fact that Tazri gives all of our creatures with activated abilities the bonus activated ability of being able to tap for mana to activate an ability means that Ragadraga will give all those creatures a +2/+2 because they now have mana abilities. He's also got like a big damage if you play a 7-drop stapled onto him. We run Sepulchral Primordial. That's the only thing that would trigger this in the deck, so, there's that. But the fact that it's buffing up our whole board paired with Tazri, 4 mana, it's really good. Speaking of Sepulchral, 7-drop. Rips a creature out of everyone's graveyard. Just some real primo big beefy boy to reanimate. The Lord of Pain. This is easily my 3rd favorite thing to reanimate in the deck. Super good. Super spicy to get out like as early as possible. You get this thing out turn 3, turn 4 with an Animate Dead with a reanimate. Every first spell someone casts is dealing damage to another player. Pretty much what you do is you play this and you go, hey, anything you cast at your first spell, you tell me who you want it to go at. Then takes the blame off you. And, really cranks your opponent's game speed to like 15 when you're playing at a 10, which is really nice. Tivit, Seller of Secrets, is my favorite card to reanimate in this deck. I absolutely love it. It's everything I want out of a big, fat creature to reanimate, especially in the Tazri deck. It's got no activated ability. It has protection. It has flying. It has mana ramp. It has card draw on ETB and on combat damage. Disgusting. This card easily wins you the game. If you can get the turn 1 discard into the turn 2 play my land, reanimate Tivit, I think you win. I'd say you won the game. Yagra, Eater of All. Another bomb creature to reanimate. Turns everybody's creatures into foods. Makes them a lot easier to get rid of with our Rex Sages. Or, I don't know, our Vandal Blast that just wipes everyone's board and just leaves our board wide open. Disgusting in this deck. Actually, just a gross combo. So now that our grave's all filled up with goodies, how are we going to get those goodies back, you might ask? We've got a pretty sizable reanimation kit in here. Of course, we've got Animate Dead, Dance of the Dead, Reanimate, the 3 classics. You need to run these in any reanimation deck. We got them. But past that, we've got some really spicy stuff that's good in just any reanimation, but specifically in Tazri, has some really cool tech. Savine's Reclamation works similarly to Sun Titan, helps us get back some of that stuff that we don't want to use our prime reanimation on, get back some lands that we can trigger some of our landfall with. The big thing with this, though, is it has flashback, so if we accidentally mill into it with Tazri, we can just flash it back, do that 2 times. Jeez, sorry, we got a cat out there that every night is like, hello, is your cat inside? Can I come say hello to her? She like, it won't shut up. It comes back every single night. Our reanimation mainly consists of creatures with activated abilities that reanimate, so we can get them into hand with Tazri, filter out our big creatures without activated abilities, and you get what goes on from there. Azuri the Gravetide is a fantastic way to get some reanimation. Being able to tap to exile a number of cards out of your graveyard equal to the number of opponents you have, and then pay the mana cost of a creature and make tokens for each opponent with haste that you have to crack at the end of turn. Now, again, pair this with like Sun Titan, you're going good. You're going good. I will concede that this deck has a lot of legendary creatures, so Arami might seem counterintuitive, but I have a rebuttal of most of my legendary creatures have really powerful ETBs, Tivit, Lumra. So I'm going to be getting 3 of those ETBs off of this. I still think that's very, very good. This is still a great thing to have in your back pocket in the deck. Love it. Of course, we got the OG, Doomed Necromancer, but we've also got Priest of Fellrights, both sacrificing themselves to bring back a creature. These are the bread and butter of this deck. We're snagging these up with Tazri. We're putting the Tivits into our graveyard. We're playing our Sun Titans to get back our Doomed Necromancers, or we're sacking our Doomed Necromancers to get back our Sun Titans to get back our Doomed Necromancers. Chains. Hell's Caretaker is one that I pulled in the Mystery Boosters 2 draft that I did. Super stoked because I've been trying to pick one of these up for a while. A sack outlet that you can use on upkeep to pretty much swap a creature in play with a creature in grave, which again with the ETBs, you can just start shuffling 2 in and out each turn, milking those ETBs. Mind if I milk those ETBs, baby? Scarab God is really scary. It's also a 5-drop, so it does feel a little clunky not putting it in grave to cheat out, but once you can get it out, it's an insane reanimation engine, so it feels safer to get it into hand rather than put it in grave. And like I said, Sepulchral Primordial, Sun Titan, we've got those as like big beefy boys that can reanimate. And that's our reanimation package. Now, Tazri being obviously a very important part of this deck, being like a huge engine that mills and fills our graveyard, it's going to be pretty important to protect her. So for that, we run Lightning Greaves, we run Swiftfoot Boots, we run Heroic Intervention, and we run Guardian of Faith. These are all just great ways to protect Tazri in case people are trying to get rid of her. We kind of need her to fire off. I'm also picking up a Safi because I love that card. It pairs really well with Sun Titan. It kind of meshes with the whole deck's idea anyway. We get to grab it with Tazri because it has an activated ability. As far as win conditions are concerned in the deck, past just reanimating Big Thing, bash opponent with Big Thing we reanimated early. Outside that, we've got Sir Conrad, which works incredibly well with Tazri because the creatures you return to hand still technically hit grave. So you get not only the ping for a creature entering graveyard from Sir Conrad, you also get it from it leaving graveyard with Sir Conrad, which does a lot of damage. Springheart Nantuko is another good one with all the landfall triggers. This thing can just produce a ton of 1/1 insects or just a copy of anything in the deck. And with the amount of landfall triggers, you can easily swarm an opponent to get the win. Imagine this on Sun Titan, on even Lumra, and having to sack is still really strong. Or just throw it on Sepulchral Primordial and go nuts. There's also the Guardian of Faith board wipe line, where you get to keep your whole board wipe, passes back around to you. That's an interesting way, like 50-50 consistency way to win the game, but it is a path you could take. So past this, that's pretty much the deck. I want to talk about just some cool interactions that I like in it, and we'll wrap things up here. So the first one, Yagra plus Vandal Blast. Obviously, you turn everyone's stuff into artifacts because they're foods now, and then you Vandal Blast, it blows up everyone's stuff. Your stuff stays. Yagra gets a ton of 1/1 counters. You can start taking out players with that. One of my favorite interactions in the deck. We also run Kibo. So if you've got Yagra Kibo with Vandal Blast, Kibo will just get really big as well for all those artifacts dying, which is cool. Colossal Sky Turtle is a card that I really like in this deck. It has 2 channel abilities, the first one being 1 in a blue to bounce a creature back to its owner's hand, and the next one being 2 in a green to get a card back from your graveyard into your hand. So this is, again, really, really nice at getting cards that we've accidentally milled that we didn't want to into hand. But it's also a good piece of removal if we're trying to get in damage on somebody. But the most important part is to channel, you have to discard. And being a 6/5 turtle with ward 2 and flying, I believe, if I'm getting those stats wrong, it's something close to that, is a pretty good reanimation target. So being able to channel, bounce, or return something to hand and reanimate the Sky Turtle, if you've got the piece of reanimation in hand, is not a bad line. I really like it. Sepulchral plus Hell's Caretaker. This one's just kind of mean, I guess. You just have Hell's Caretaker, you play Seppuku Reel, you'll steal a creature from everybody. You start things off by sacking your Seppuku Reel, and then every rotation you return your Seppuku Reel to get 3 more creatures. You just kind of keep doing that and rip everything out of everyone's graveyard progressively. I also really like Fiend Artisan or Fauna Shaman with Grist, because Grist behaves like a creature everywhere but the battlefield, so you can tutor them up with these two. Especially with Fiend Artisan, being able to tutor that up and put it directly into play is a really good piece of like removal in your back pocket if you need it, with Grist -2. We talked about Safi Sun Titan, one of my favorite things. You can crack Safi to prevent Sun Titan from dying, swing with Sun Titan to get back Safi. It's a pretty good chain, especially when you throw a Hell's Caretaker into the mix with that, because now you can crack Safi to target your Sun Titan so it won't die next time. Use Hell's Caretaker to sack your Sun Titan. It comes back from Safi. Your Sun Titan brings back Safi, and your Hell's Caretaker trigger is still on the stack, and go ahead and reanimate something else from your graveyard and bring it in. Past all that, here's our 12 pieces of card draw that we run in the deck. Here's the 13 ramp spells we run in the deck. And here's the 13 pieces of removal we run in the deck, along with the 4 pieces of global interaction, including 3 board wipes, along with a Gix's Command. Here's the 37 lands we run, along with the mana curve and the mana color divvy for you statistic nerds out there. Here's 3 opening hands from the deck. Boom. Bop. Bam. Make sure to get a closer look with the link down below. If you enjoyed this format and this style, please let me know. I want something that's more lax and more like we're just chilling, we're hanging out, we're having a good time. I get so sweaty and I get so confined to just like sitting in front of a camera, in front of a mic, and making sure I don't bump the arm and making sure I just want to have more fun with it. So if you like this format, please let me know. If you want to show the channel a little bit of additional support, you can head over to the Patreon. It starts as low as $1, where you will have a direct hand in suggesting some obscure cards for the weekly obscure card list we do. So if that sounds interesting to you, consider it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to order any of the cards from this video, like I said, use my TCG Player affiliate link, which you can find down below. I'm going to stop yapping. You guys can check out the full deck list down below on Moxfield. Please leave me some suggestions on what you think of the deck, and I will see you guys next time. Peace. Your deck almost done? Just about. Who'd you decide on? I decided on Tazri, because there really wasn't another 5-color commander focused around Reanimator that wasn't a tribal deck. I think I got some stuff in here for that. She seems pretty good. Milling myself. I like that stuff. I'm missing 2 cards, so I've got to find 2 more cards to put in, and then I'm good to go. I've got an Experiment Kraj in here somewhere. That would be I thought about him, but the only problem is he has an activated ability and costs 6, so he's gonna be put into hand with Tazri. I don't really want 6 drops chilling in hand. Okay, yeah, fair. What about Selvella? She seems good. 3-drop, helps you play other big stuff late game, draws you cards when you play the big stuff, gets put into hand with Tazri. That seems She is another one that actually was on the consideration list, but the fact that she has a mana ability, Tazri doesn't put creatures with activated abilities that are mana abilities into hand, only if they're non-mana. Damn, okay. Give me another chance here, give me another shot. Okay, yeah. What about Training Grounds? Just to help your activated abilities cost less. Yeah, not really focusing on the activated ability side of it too much. I actually already found what I'm going to put in. I actually just decided to put in Vandal Blast and Yagra. Think that should probably work. Who hurt you? Prosper. Prosper hurt me.